The main cast for Lord of the Rings has been selected. It was incredibly difficult to select actors to portray these characters that we already love so much. I hope my selections didn't disappoint too much, but we are coming to the end. This is the last episode where we've been recasting Lord of the Rings for a potential TV series, meaning more time for characters like the ones we're casting today. The forgotten ones, the ones who never made an appearance on screen in Jackson's trilogy. Now the nice thing is that we never really got to see these characters on screen before, therefore it's easier to wrap your heads around these casting decisions. And although I won't be getting to every single character who's named inside the books, but I will be casting the ones that I feel and most fans feel were shafted in the original adaptation. Now I know I'm likely going to miss out on some characters that you'd really like to see, but I felt like these were some of the most important characters that really need to be portrayed by a specific actor. Now I will say before I get into this video, a lot of people keep on asking what's coming next. Although I am working on another series that I'm recasting right now, I'm going to take a break from recasting for just a couple videos. There's been a couple video essays I've been working on, and I really want to put those out. I will get back to it in a couple weeks where I'll recast another franchise, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on that. But today we're talking about forgotten characters of Lord of the Rings. So we're recasting Glorfindel, Tom Bombadil, Fatty Bolger, and Eladin and Arohir. So without further ado, let's recast Lord of the Rings one last time. First up we have Glorfindel. He was most notably left out of Lord of the Rings, and his big scene was given to Arwen. Now I understand why Jackson did this, but in a TV series there is really no reason to cut characters or simplify, so Glorfindel can have his scene and even maybe some backstory. Now with Glorfindel, it's extremely important we cast an actor who is physical and can do action. The character is supposed to be a very capable fighter, but we still need an actor who has the grace of an elf. Now if you've seen The Guest, a criminally underrated film, you'd know that Dan Stevens is an actor who rarely gets to show his range, specifically in action sequences. He's an action star waiting to happen. Now he is a wonderful actor, and he could bring a lot more to this character than just one badass scene. In the books, it's less of a dash to Rivendell, and Glorfindel actually takes it slow for the first part for Frodo, allowing for more dialogue, and maybe a little bit of a larger part than just the chase scene. He also plays a role in the Council of Elrond, in providing his wisdom. Dan Stevens could do all that. The action sequence, the confident dialogue from someone who's so wise, and speaking up at the Council of Elrond. So Dan Stevens is Glorfindel. As for Tom Bombadil, he's the one that fans first point to when we talk about characters left out of the movies. He's something different. He's really shaded in a lot of mystery, which only makes fans kind of like him more. Tom Bombadil is basically ageless, and many believe he's actually older than the First Age. He really just observes the beauty of the world. I saw a wonderful comparison to him online, that he was like the Bob Ross of Middle-earth, and I just love that. It's worth mentioning, he is one of the most powerful beings in Middle-earth. He actually puts on the One Ring, and it has no effect on him. He saves the hobbits and is a large portion of the beginning of the story. With this TV series, we'd have more than enough time for Tom, and I'd love to see him fully formed. Now when casting him, we need that mystical, jovial nature, and an actor who really talks without concern of the world. Not belittling, but just content. Someone who seems like they could have lived 1,000 years and still had a smile when looking back on it. That's why Billy Connolly is my pick for Tom Bombadil. He may not look the most like the character. He has that nature down to a T.
Violet, do you know snakes are more afraid of you than you are of them? Few people do. When threatened, a snake will retreat to a place that is quiet, safe, remote. A sanctuary where it can feel out of danger. That's why Peru.
He would give that otherworldly, carefree feeling and really portray that shade of mystery and power to the character. So Billy Connolly is Tom Bombadil. Next up, we have Fatty Bolger, who's another character who had a bigger role in the first part of the story. We all know and love Sam, Frodo, Merry, and Pippin, but there's actually a fifth hobbit who is a pretty big part of the team. He helps Frodo plan his departure from the Shire, and he actually stays behind to cover Frodo's tracks, and actually gets attacked by the ring wraiths at one point. Now, this is not a massive role, but still one I think should be included if we want to differentiate between the original Jackson trilogy. I went with Haley Joel Osment for this role. This man is made to play a hobbit. He has the frame, the height, but also the demeanor. You may be saying, isn't that the kid from Sixth Sense? Yes, he did take a large break from acting. Gone is that kid, and he's turned into something really interesting and really put in some really interesting performances.
I'm not gonna lie. When you first told me that number, I had a feeling of mad. But then I had lunch. And after that, I was a little tired, but I mostly felt pretty okay. And that's when it hit me. This is a guy who knows how valuable he is. It got me to thinking that perhaps I have undervalued my own company.
I think he would fit really well in the hobbits I've already cast. And this might be a shining role that brings him back into the limelight. So Haley Joel Osment as Fatty Bolger. Lastly, we have Elladan and Aroher, Elrond's two sons. They're twins and pretty much identical. Their main purpose in the story was to clear the way for the Fellowship, but they end up actually taking on a little bit more of an active role. They actually accompanied Aragorn into the paths of the dead and really share a close relationship with Aragorn. Now with casting twins, you can be limited. There are very few twins out there who really are known as prominent actors. Now there is the option of casting one actor and then doing the digital face replacement, similar to what they did in Social Network. But for some reason, and this just might be me, it always feels strange. It loses the subtlety of twins, who really have their distinct own way. They're not just carbon copies. You can tell them apart. When you do the digital face replacement, it feels like copy-paste. Now fortunately for us, there are twins out there who are actually really great actors and are relatively unknown, meaning they might agree to this smaller part. But more importantly, they actually look a lot like the sons of Jude Law, who I cast as Elrond. That's Sean and Aaron Ashmore. Now, they both have had noteworthy roles, Sean being Iceman in X-Men, and Aaron being in Veronica Mars. But it's likely that you thought they were the same actor. I really liked Sean Ashmore when I was growing up, but I feel like he hasn't really had a role to show his range. Also, I've never really seen them on screen together as well. It'd be really great to bring that duo together and see what they can really do. I think they would have to make these roles their own and really adapt them to their style of acting, but I could really see this working. So Sean and Aaron Ashmore as Elladan and Aroher. So there is my final casting for Lord of the Rings. As I've been saying, it's been incredibly difficult to recast these actors. I went back and forth on so many choices, but here's my cast of Lord of the Rings. Please subscribe so you stay tuned to the next recasting series, and as always, thank you to my patrons. Adam Gray, Jeremy Jacobs, Jenny Edwards, Gabe Marchanda, Gunnar Lakeland, Colleen West, Marco Perry, Roland, Aiden McShane, Shalon Hudson, Kieran Hunt, Joris Conan, Brandon Warner, Sweevy, Alex Tao, Derek B. Bell, Jacob Wolf, Alexander Gardulo, Lisa Hewer, and Rachel Kilker. Thank you for your support, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.